Hey foodies, so today's yummy and simple recipe is this vegetarian alternative to a Jamaican classic of stew peas. Look how delicious this looks, guys. It's yummy and simple to make. Let's get stuck in. So we're going to start by making the dough for our delicious dumplings. So into a bowl I add some plain flour, and then I have a cup of cold water ready to add to the flour slowly. You don't want to rush this process, otherwise you're going to end up with putty dough, and that is a no-no. So as you can see, the flour has absorbed the water that I first put in, and now I've gone ahead and added some more, and I just stir it around gently. This is a slow process to ensure that there is no failure along the way. But don't fear if you add too much water to your dough. All you need to do is get some fresh flour and just add that back in slowly to your mixture, and then just have a feel just to make sure it's getting thick and there isn't too much flour left in between like the cracks. And then you just knead that in slowly back to a nice smooth thick consistency. As you can see, I am trying to get all the parts of the flour mixed into my dough. When I finish my dumpling dough, I like the bowl to be clear and for there to be no flour left over. At this point, this had become quite a workout. My arms were just feeling like I've been in the gym for an hour. So you can thank me later for the muscles that you're going to gain from kneading your dough perfectly. I'm almost finished. As you can see, most of the flour is almost gone from the bowl. So I've gone ahead and added a little bit of water just to try and get those final parts mixed into the main dough. And I'm then going to start my kneading, my proper kneading process, which is just to get the consistency really right. So when we boil these dumplings, they come out perfect. At this stage, you're probably wondering when you're going to finish, but I promise, it will all be worth it. I am just finalizing the dough now, so I'm just picking up any loose bits. I'll probably add a little bit more water just to pick them up and just to make the dough really, really smooth. Trust me, it's going to be worth it when you are tucking into these beautiful dumplings. Once I'm happy with the dough, I'm gonna just give it a final knead. Then I'm gonna cover it, and then I'm gonna move on to the stew. To begin, I add some vegetable oil into a medium-sized pan, and I just let that heat up slowly on a low heat. So once your oil is nice and warm, add your chopped bell peppers, your onions, your garlic, and just let them saute slowly, stirring intermittently to make sure they don't burn but get nice and golden brown. So once your vegetables are halfway cooked, it is time to add your seasoning. This is a really important phase because it just ensures that the vegetables absorb all of the seasoning, which means your stew is going to taste even better. So I start with some paprika, and then I add a generous amount of freshly ground black pepper. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic powder, some onion powder, and then I am going to give everything a good mix to ensure all the vegetables are fully coated in all the seasoning. And of course, I'm not done with the seasoning. Would this be a Caribbean dish if I didn't add more seasoning? Of course not. So I'm going to add some bouillon to it. It's vegetable bouillon, so it's vegan and veggie friendly. I'm going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of it. This is the salt for your dish, so you don't need to add separate salt. This has everything you need. And I'm going to go ahead and give everything a good stir. Now I'm going to add my fresh thyme, and I know it's a lot, but you know what? We can't compromise on flavor. So just give everything a nice stir, and then it's going to be time to add our peas. And I cut corners here. I use the tin peas. My mum never used tin peas. She was always like, you need to boil the peas. But you know what? I'm using tin peas because I am short on time and I want to get this food cooked as soon as possible. So I just go ahead and add that. I didn't drain it because I wanted to use some of the water in the peas. You can go ahead and drain it if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I also used a mixture of red kidney beans and black beans just to make the meal a bit different. And there's not much difference in taste really, but it just looks so pretty. Look how delicious this looks already, guys. And we're not even finished yet. So now I'm going to add coconut milk, and I've chosen to use full fat just because, you know what, it tastes nicer. I'm going to give everything a good mix. And at this stage, I wasn't happy with the consistency. I felt it was too thick. And let's not forget the dumplings that we still need to add. And they are made from flour, obviously, which will naturally thicken the sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and add some warm water to the pan just to make the stew a little bit thin in preparation for our yummy dumplings. I also added in a Scotch bonnet pepper, which I didn't record in this video. It's entirely up to you, but it just makes the food taste a bit more flavoursome, and I personally like it. So I leave that in for a little bit, and then I take it out once I've reached my desired heat. It's time to add some more seasoning. So I'm adding some pimento seeds, which just make the food taste even better. If you haven't got them, you can get them from most supermarkets or your local African and Caribbean food store. So I'm going to cover the pot just to let things simmer to bring out all those delicious flavors, and it should look something like this after about 5 or 10 minutes. And now it's time to add in our lovely dumplings. I'm going to shape my dumplings into 2 shapes. So the first one are the spinner dumplings, and I tend to make some small and medium. The kids are very particular about the sizes. Ask me why, I do not know, but my children are 5 and 7, so that kind of says it all. I also make the round dumplings, where basically you roll the dough into a little ball and then you flatten it, and then you get your finger and just make like an indent in the middle. So once you've added in your last dumpling, give everything a gentle stir. We don't want to distort the shape of our dumplings because we also eat with our eyes and we want our dumplings to look pretty. Once I've given my stew a nice gentle stir, I then turn the fire down to a medium to low heat just to let everything simmer and cook through nice and slowly. And after about 15 minutes or so, obviously every cooker's different, then your stew will be ready to serve and enjoy. And now it's the time you've all been waiting for. It's time to serve up and enjoy our delicious stew. Just look how thick that stew looks, thick and rich. And I'm going to enjoy it with some coconut rice. There's a separate video of how I get my rice perfect every time. There is a method to this which will not fail. I'm going to also enjoy it with some tender stem broccoli and some avocado. Please let me know in the comments if you try this yummy and simple recipe, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you on the next video, foodies.